Bearing the name of one of the most influential people in American motorsport, the Panoz Esperante GTR-1 was always destined to leave a mark. While many people, myself included, know this car from Gran Turismo, the reality was much more than floundering behind a grid of Japanese Group C cars. In fact, the Esperante was a truly thoroughbred race car, but certainly not a normal one. It was pretty strange, relatively successful, and extremely cool. Don Panoz is well known nowadays for his contributions to motorsport, particularly in the United States, spearheading the creation of the Petit Le Mans in 1998 and helping bring the wild Delta Wing to fruition in the early 2010s. However, for this story, we need to go back in time, back to when a serious racing effort was just a twinkle in Don's son's eye. Don Panoz had made a lot of money as a businessman, forming the pharmaceutical company Mylan with Milan Puskar, which then went on to invent the transdermal patch. Dan, Don's son, convinced his father to fund his new company, Panoz Auto Development, in 1989, with the goal of building race cars. By all accounts, Don was very skeptical of this idea to begin with, but warmed up to it enough that he would leverage his connections to build a team, including racing legend Mario Andretti, to build and hopefully race a car in the 24 hours of Le Mans. The company initially built small numbers of road-going sports cars, with the Panoz Roadster being the first in 1992. However, it took a number of years before the Panoz's venture bore any racing results. By the mid-90s, and courtesy of a partnership with chassis manufacturer Reynard, they were getting close to ready to race. The car undoubtedly stood out on pretty much every European grid in its late 90s heyday. From the outside, it looked like nothing else. This is because the engine was mounted in the front, as requested by Don Panoz, to keep the car tethered to the Panoz Esperante Roadster, which was in development at the time. Why? Who knows? The GTR-1 bore exactly 0% mechanical resemblance to the Esperante Roadster, and the company actually had to go out of their way to make a car that both functioned as a race car and looked anything like the Esperante road car. It wasn't even anything to do with homologation, because Panoz actually had to make two road-legal GTR-1s anyway. These homologation cars featured a 5.3 litre V8 instead of the race version's 6 litre V8, as well as a full interior. They were retained by Don Panoz and today sit in the Panoz Motor Museum in Georgia in the United States. To keep the car functional on the track, the enormous 6 litre V8 was mid-mounted, entirely behind the front axle but still in front of the cockpit, creating the strange and memorable Esperante shape we all remember. Or don't. The car's shape was probably its most memorable attribute, earning it the nickname Batmobile for its resemblance to the Batmobile. I wouldn't say the Esperante is a bad-looking car, but I wouldn't say it's a good-looking car either. From the front, its bug eyes and bulging hood look odd, but overall, it's such an outlandish car compared to its counterparts that more than anything else, I just find myself admiring its boldness. It would have been so easy to follow the crowd. At least they tried something different. If you're enjoying the video so far, tap the like button. It makes a big difference. Thank you. So why did this car exist? It was built for the 1997 FIA GT Championship primarily, however it competed in far more besides, competing all across both North America and Europe. 1997 was the GTR-1's first active race year. 6 cars were produced for the season and distributed to 3 different teams. 2 were retained by Panoz themselves for racing in North America. The remaining 4 cars raced in Europe, with the French team DAMS and the British David Price Racing running 2 cars each. The European effort in 1997 was somewhat lackluster. However, across the pond, Panoz were doing quite well. They won the GT class event at Road Atlanta and then the GTS1 class event at Watkins Glen. They followed this with class wins at the Sonoma Raceway and Laguna Seca. They finished second overall in the Constructors' Championship, being beaten out by Porsche. For 1998, Panoz wanted to try something new. They decided the Esperante wasn't electric enough, so they partnered with Zytec to make a hybrid. The Panoz Esperante Q9 GTR-1 hybrid was born, and to really drive home the point, they painted it purple and put lightning bolts on it. Very subtle. Much like modern Le Mans hybrid cars, the Esperante was fitted with an electric motor and batteries with the goal of increasing power and reducing fuel consumption. It did, however, retain its 6 litre V8. The logic was sound though, and the execution was pretty good. Panoz turned to regenerative braking to increase range even further, banking on taking fewer pit stops being faster than actually just driving faster, a perfectly reasonable method in an endurance race. In 1998, David Price Racing took on the task of developing the Q9, or Sparky as it had become known, for Le Mans, leaving DAMS Racing in Europe and Panoz in North America both running the standard cars, though by this point all the cars had been given extended bodywork for increased downforce. The Q9 hybrid unfortunately turned out to be a huge failure when it was tested at Le Mans, running substantially slower than the original Esperantes on the grid. It was determined that this was as a result of the cars being majorly overweight as a result of the inclusion of the battery pack for the electric motor. After the test day, the team decided not to run the Q9 at all, and after a brief appearance later at the Petit Le Mans where it managed a 12th place finish, the project was officially abandoned. The old Esperantes, however, were knocking it out the park, with Panoz winning in its class in 3 of 5 events during the United States Road Racing Championship, only narrowly losing the championship to Porsche by just 3 points. Better still though was their performance during the Constructors' Team Championship, in which they won 7 of 8 races, a decisive victory for Panoz. 1999 saw the end of the Esperantes' success. The FIA had dissolved the GT1 class and replaced it with LMGTP at Le Mans, putting the Esperante in competition with new generation cars like the Mercedes CLR, and LMP cars such as the BMW V12 LMR that ultimately prevailed that year. However, Panoz was by now developing its next car, the LMP1 Roadster S, a car designed to compete in the Le Mans prototype class. The LMP1 Roadster S took a lot of inspiration from the Esperante GTR-1, keeping the very long nose and visually simply losing the roof. The similarities were more than just skin deep, however, as the proven chassis from the GTR-1 was reused in the Roadster S to great effect. I think the Roadster S deserves a whole video to itself though. In the meantime, you should check out this video about another Le Mans legend. Or if you're feeling curious, you can check out all of the Le Mans stories that I've covered on this channel in the playlist here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye.